I was in a conversation with a young lady who I care about so much. She's a second daughter to me. Not like one, but she's basically is a second daughter to me. And I recognize that she's an assignment for me. You know, as much as I try to kind of get her to break away from me, it's been clear that she's my assignment. And she was sharing with me that the past month, she just been in limbo with seeking employment. And that's with everybody right now. The economy is so crazy. And she's so stressed out because she's a mom. She's a single mother. And she just don't know what she's going to do. Job A laid her off 4 months ago, and they had not called her back to come to work once they start back up. It's a position in the industrial field. And so while she was waiting on Job A to call her back, she was seeking other employment. And by word of mouth, someone suggested that she apply for a job working with the elderly. And she applied for the job, and she, while we were discussing it, she was just explaining to me right now I would take anything. I would like to go back to Job A because they pay really well. I would be able to pay all my bills. I wouldn't have to really, it's enough, to do what I need to do, pay my bills and care for my kids. But something is better than nothing. And she said Job B pays a little bit less, but it will allow me to have more time with my kids, and I will be able to get my children off to school in the morning. And she said, I just don't know which job to accept. She said, I'm sure Job A is going to call me, but I don't know when. It's not going to be soon. It's not going to be as soon as I would like it to be, but I believe that Job B was going to call me before Job A. But I asked her, I said, so which job would you prefer? I say, because it's important for you to get clarity. Because sometimes I'm a person that believes in energy. And sometimes when you're confused, you don't have clarity on certain things, you could be in turmoil. Turmoil can stop a lot of flow into your life. It creates blockages, and sometimes you fall to the fault of decisions that's just there, automatically they're just thrown to you, not decisions that you've made in an alignment with clarity. And she said, I don't know, I'll just take anything. I'm like, girl, that's not clarity. That's just saying, hey, I'm just gonna give myself to whatever job. What is the priority? So I asked the question, with Job A and Job B, what is the priority in between the two? Job A pays more money. Job B don't pay as much, but I would be able to get my children on the bus in the morning. I would be able to get to them in the evening. And Job A does pay more, but she would be burdened with the stress of trying to find support to get her kids to school in the morning and getting them from school. I asked her, okay, now you just explained all of that. Between those two, what is the main purpose of you getting a job? She said, so I could take care of myself and my children. I said, okay, well then you caring for your kids. What does that look like? Providing a roof over their heads, giving them something, make sure they have clothes in their back, an education, and food in their belly. And I said, okay, they got to get to school. Do you have support to get them to school every day? She said, I probably could, but I know it's not going to last. I said, okay, so which job will allow you to get those kids to school every day without being stressed about whether or not the support that you have is going to end? And she said, Job B. I said, baby, that's your clarity. I understand you're going to take a pay cut, but sometimes we have to sacrifice for the greater good, just for a little while. It's not going to be long. I said, that's your clarity. And in the midst of me talking to her, and I said, listen, you got the clarity on which job to accept. I said, now if job A call you, yeah, go ahead and accept it, because you do need to, you need something. But keep in mind, job B come calling, that's the job that, that's going to better fit with everything that you have going on. I don't know what came over me to have me to tell her to call her mom. And I said, listen, call your mom and talk to her about it. Because I'm a praying mother. And ask your mom to say some prayers with you. And she told me, she said, well, Kenya, I don't know how to pray. You don't have to know how to pray. Just like you're talking to me and you're talking to your mom, you could talk to God in the same way. I said, but call your mom. Your mama, she's an older woman like me. She's a woman of a certain age. She's a middle-aged woman. I'm sure your mom will have some prayers with you about the situation. Just talk to your mom about it. Don't you know she called me back an hour after we hung up, and job B called her? The job that will allow her to prioritize her children and also pay her bills and take care of her kids, even though it's going to come with a pay cut, but she'll be able to do the basic need for herself and her children with job B, just for a little while. Because I explained to her, this is temporary. This is not going to be always. This is not forever. Job B called her. She texted me, and I didn't do anything. It wasn't my doing. But she texted me. She said, Kenya, thank you. And I'm like, girl, I didn't do anything. That was all you. She said, you did. And she said, and my mama did too, because my mama prayed about the situation. And I was so overjoyed. And that's the reward in the work that I do with young ladies. I just had to share. Clarity. When you gain clarity, something is going to always come up when you have clarity. Clarity provides a breakthrough. Clarity will guide you on your path for your purpose. Purpose is not something that you have to chase. You have it, but you just have to do self-discovery, and clarity does that. I was just so overjoyed. And when she called me and I was on that phone, she didn't know, but my eyes was filled with water, because I know that she's doing the best that she can, and she's trying. And I explained to her, you just keep having faith and you keep trying, girl. Keep moving forward. And I know it's hard to keep moving forward when you're fighting off everything. But as long as she do her part, everything else will be provided for her. And life is going to continue to happen. And I explained that to her. You do what you can do. You do your best. And always make decisions that's aligned with what it is that you are choosing to do and what is the priority in your life. Because clarity is going to will illuminate your path. I did not intend for this video to be this long, but I had to share that, and I hope it helps somebody.